At this time of the quick speed shop, check it out, Dodge stuff. Oh, I see panels painted, I see mirrors. We're doing all kinds of stuff today on the truck. We're gonna get out a sandblaster, we're gonna fight with that out in the rain and clean up some panels, get some stuff painted, and show you how I mounted these up. So here we go, let's start right now. I'm starting off with something simple. It's turned out to be simple. Put new cab seals in it here. Now I bought these in Rock Auto. I don't know who makes them, but you can order them in Rock Auto. And it's got the factory style. It clips on. It's got like metal or plastic in this lip that clips on to the drip rail lip here around the cab. And I've just been working my way around putting it in. We'll look at some other stuff on the truck in a minute here, but it's kind of a late night on a work night, so I just came out to putter around a little bit. And this is going pretty good. What I do here, I'll bring you over in a second, but it just kind of like grips onto the steel pinch weld of the cab. I thought I was going to need some kind of glue. I got some like weather strip adhesive, and I thought that I would need to glue this on here, but this actually grips right onto the pinch weld with the way it's made, and it just kind of goes on here. So I've been working it up. Just put my hand in some grease. I've been working it onto the edge of the cab here. It grabs on good. So right here you can see the slip. It just kind of grips onto the pinch rail here, and I've just been working it on. It's got a real positive feel. It's going to hang on there just like that, and I'm just kind of working it up with my hand, making sure it's tight like that. And it's going to be a new seal all the way around. I've got one for each side, but it's going to make it nice. And then down here on the bottom, start in the center, the seam will go back together in the center. And this is the wiring for the inside of the cab since I'm not running a carpet. This is Herculiner truck bed liner material. I put it in a few videos ago. Scuffed the whole floor, painted it, painted the rocker panels with it and stuff. It's just got some dirt on it right now, but it makes a real durable, waterproof, wear-resistant surface. And then I just do like floor mats like this, just throw them down, and you can actually almost hose the inside of the truck out with the stuff like that. And it's a little dirty right now, but it'll clean up good. So I'm just putting these seals in real fast, and then we'll look at the front of the truck, which is almost coming together. So let me keep pushing around here and we'll take a look. Bam, that came out really nice and went really easy to put that on there. It's fitting really good here. Seals up nice. It really grips on there tight. I had one little spot where I kinked the edge of this here. I had to take it out and bend it over. It got caught on this plastic. I'll just jam that in there now, but it's all good there. It's a little bit long here. I'm just going to take scissors or razor blade or something, probably a razor blade, and cut it here at the seam. And then it comes with this little piece of foam that goes in the end of the seal like this. You slide it halfway in, then you slide in the other piece, and it seals the seal up. No pun intended, but that's really nice. I forget what these cost. I bought them over a year ago, but they're on Rock Auto for the Dodge trucks, and there's nothing like having nice new rubber. The original seals, I have remnants of them laying over there in the pile, but they're all nasty and ripped at the bottom and stuff, so definitely well worth it for brand new seals. And speaking of new seals, here in the door where the window channel goes, this is all old deteriorated plastic. It's actually broke on the outside. As you see here, it's missing here, and then I think it's missing, in this metal part here. So when it comes time to take the door panels off to paint them, I'm going to pull this strip out here. I have some street rod aftermarket window stuff here. You see up on the wall, the metal channel, and you can bend it around. I'm going to slip that in here, replace all this window lace. That's what it's called, window lace. Okay, with the seals in, I think I'll actually take the door panels off because they got to get painted anyways. And this window crank's broke, but I got one out of my parts truck. It's missing a knob. It's got a little Allen screw here holding it in. Where are my other handles? I gotta go find them. They're somewhere, but I'll, yep. Boom. Oops. Oh, gone forever. Found it. Then, oh, we got a Phillips screw way back in there. And the rest of this must just be door buttons. This armrest is all junk. It screws from the side, but it's metal on the bottom. It's all rusted out. Let me get something here to pop this door panel off. I thought I had a door panel button removal tool, but that might be out in my other toolbox in my truck. So I got a pry bar that I use on the screwdriver, or on the brakes on the back with a little notch cut in it. Let's see if this will get in here and pop it. Let's not break the door panel. Oh, this is pretty delicate. Now you see how white this is here. Remember how I painted the dashboard? Well, you can see on the underside what it used to be. Oh, it's full of stink bugs. Oh, they're all dead. Get out of there. Can get into the inner door to replace those window channels and stuff. And I also want to fix, that's the door pull screwed in there. I also want to fix the, there's a whole bunch of mirror holes. They just lag screwed mirrors into the doors. I also want to fix that. I'll be changing the mirrors. Originally I had small mirrors here. It's the factory mirror hole. Then I had big mirrors that went down here. I had a mirror attached to the top at some point. So I think it's had like 3 mirrors on it. And I've actually got a set of like factory style bigger mirrors that take a screw here and then one here. So I'm going to re-drill the door, put some nut certs in the door where the mirror's going to attach. But these holes are all jagged from self-tapping screws or lag screws running there. They got sheet metal pulled out. So I'm going to hit these with a grinder and try to tap them in as flush as I can to get rid of the real sharp edges. And I'm going to take some of my kill mat stuff that I put behind the seat and all that. Like here, there was some holes in the back of the cab, and I kill matted the back of the cab, and it makes a nice seal, waterproof seal, because it plugs the hole right up. And I can put a little silicone on the outside, but it should be weather tight. So I'm going to cut some pieces of that, get in here through the door, and stick them on the inside of the door to seal that up so it doesn't just run water into the door. And run the window up so we can get a look at that. Actually, while I got it right here, I might as well spray some oil on there. Spray the mechanism down so it operates nice. This is the color I'm using, Palomino, like the horse. So that's what I paint there. It's close enough for original. It's close, real close to the original color. It's not quite perfect, but close enough. So I'll paint them door panels and they'll look restored in a minute here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the armrest though, because that is completely destroyed. I might need to go find one in the junkyard or find one on eBay or something, because it's completely rotted out. All right, it's the next night, and I'm working on, I figured it's about time to clean these doors up. And because it's got like 10 years of moss, like ate right into the paint. So first thing I tried doing was clean out this prep all. It's a wax and grease remover. And I worked on this section up here, which is shiny now. I'll show you why in a second. And it wouldn't barely touch it. I was rubbing, and this stuff is like right in there. It's like moss and stuff. This is where a decal was on the door. This stuff wouldn't barely touch it. So I had to go to the big gun, bust out the big guns. Lacquer thinner. You body shop guys are probably like, what's he doing? You're going to ruin it? Never fear. I've already tried it here. It works great. And it took a lot of this crap off. There's actually overspray on the door for some reason from something else. Who knows when it got. It's got like gray overspray on it. It's worse over here. So it's taken some of the overspray off and actually had some gray paint that had dripped out off something. But I took that off. I got a bunch of marks in the paint that are down to the bare metal that's rusted. And then you got this crash in the door, so I'm not worried about that. I'm going to try to clean all this off really good. Using thinner. The paint's good. It's not coming off, but it does dull up the surface, make it like chalky. This whole truck needs, all the original sheet metal needs to be rubbed out on it with a compound and maybe even with a buffer to get some of the shine back and make it match the cab. I think it would shine up here. It's even cloudy, but I think it would bring it back, right back around and make it shinier again. But I just got to get this heavy grunge off here. So let's fire up the old lacquer thinner. Fire it up and rub it on there. The truck's probably painted with enamel, I would guess, from the factory, and it's pretty durable, so we can hit it. I don't think it's going to hurt it. But watch this. Just gonna, oh yeah. You can hear that moss. This moss is like eating right into the door. Outside for years and years. See, it's taking a little bit of the brown off, but this moss is like, oh no, eating right into it. So I'm just going to keep rubbing her. And it is right in there, bad. Obviously, if this was something nice, we probably wouldn't want to do this, but luckily it's not, so we can. This paint is like wrecked big time. But see, it took some of the glue off. This moss is like eating right into the paint though. Like this side sat real close to my garage and out back, and the rain and all this stuff in the trees would just sit this side of the truck and, wrecked it big time. The passenger door is a lot better shape. But yikes. So I'm going to keep rubbing this for a while, and we'll see if anything pops up. And that didn't sound good at all. I'm going to keep working and cleaning this off, and then we'll take a look. Hey, bam, check it out. Revealed. So I went and I found some old turtle wax. What is this? Wax, I guess. And I used it for like rubbing compound. It was super hard and crunchy like this. I used some Windex and reconstituted it with Windex. Science! Don't try this at home. Not the best way. Anyways, I rubbed it out with wax, and man, look at it. It's not perfect by any stretch of imagination, but look at the color came right back on the door, and it doesn't match the paint on the cab all that bad. I mean, of course, it's hard because we're in here under fluorescent lights and grunginess, but it seemed to have brought it right back where the cab is not going to be so far off from the door. It's a little light back here because the paint's thin, but up here I think it's gonna look good. So there is a lot of damage in the paint. A lot of these marks, I try to get them off. Something got spilled on this door that ate the paint off. I don't know if it was brake fluid or what it was. Splashed all over the place, and it looks like it's blowing from like the engine bay, but it took the paint right off whatever hit it and splashed it here. So that's kind of ruined, and there's scratch marks here and dings and dents, and of course all this wonkiness. But I think with some more rubbing, this will come out. What I think I want to do is try to go to like maybe Harbor Freight. We'll do another tool review. I might just buy a cheap buffing compound buffer, and get some foam pad and some buffing compound. And once I put the whole truck together, clean it up really well and then buff the whole thing. If I can get the paint to come back anywhere like that is, it'll look like not $1 million, probably $168,418. It'll look way better than it has in the last 20 years. So I'm pleasantly surprised. And this is going to be flat black down here, so I didn't worry about it. But you can see where something spilled down it and ate through the paint, and there too. I don't know what happened to it, but it's it actually cleaned up way better than I thought it would. And like I said, that color match is not bad at all now. I didn't do anything with the passenger door. This is still, you can see how chalky it was. Maybe I'll just hit it real fast, try to rub a little bit with a wax, but I'd really like to wait till I get a buffing wheel, or a buffer. I did knock down all the bolt holes from the old mirrors where they're all pulled out with a grinder too, and I got to seal them from the inside. This door's got some damage in it. It's got a big crease in it here and dents and dings. It's wonky, but you can see where the sticker was on here, but it didn't have any of that moss growing into the paint on this side, and it's not got whatever took the paint off the other side, so it'll probably come back pretty good on this side once it gets rubbed out. I also went and rubbed the door jamb just real fast. It did look like this, and now it looks like this, shiny, and the bottom of the doors are exposed, so I'll go ahead and rub that. So I'll get some more mystery products here, and once we get the truck all together, we'll rub the whole thing out and make it nicer. All right, it's the next day, and it's warmer out than it has been a few days, so I think I want to try to get my sandblast on for some of the parts here, like the core support and the inner fenders. And what I have is a pressure pot gun. I got this out of the trash actually a few years ago, and it had some Black Beauty in it, which is like, I don't know, ground up coal or something. It's got a pretty big nozzle, and I tried to restore it. I've been working on it a little bit. It's got a little plunger that lifts up and seals on its own. It held pressure, but the gun wasn't working right. And the Black Beauty's pretty big, and I don't have any of that. But I do have a sandblasting sand. I've got this Titan sandblaster that actually goes with a gas compressor that I have. This one was my dad's, and we used to blast. He bought this in like '85 or something, and was used then. It's got a twin-cylinder Wisconsin gasoline engine powering a big air compressor, and this thing will blast at 100 psi all day long. The only problem is it's very loud when you run the gas engine and run this, and I'm not sure if the neighbors appreciate me doing that. And the thing hasn't run like in 10 years probably. So probably in the spring I'm going to get that out and try to fire that gas motor up and put electric start on it, because we always started it by hand, and it's hard to crank it now, and I got a bad shoulder, is worn out from work. And anyways, so I've got the pressure pot for that, and what I did was it uses like a big industrial air hose quick connect twist lock fitting here, and there's an air blow off up here, so I put an air fitting for the air compressor on here for the small compressor, electric compressor. And I'm just going to try to backfeed air through it here, go around. I'll use this for my blow-off, and pump air into it this way. And I have a few 100 pounds of white silica sandblasting sand, 100% silica, that goes in the pressure pot here. I should be able to run it at 80 psi with my compressor, enough just to blast a little bit of rust off the core support and the inner fenders and stuff. So it's like 50 degrees out. I'll go get some sand I'll put in here. Let's see if we can fire this up and blast the core support for this truck. Okay, I got her hooked up out here. Off camera, I went and fired it up once, and I got a big clog of rust down in the hose here. Now, I'm going to try it again. I've got my air going in here. I'm going to pressurize it, and let's see if it works. We got leaks. Oh, that gasket's. I might have to run it without the nozzle for a second to blow some chunks out. Oh boy. Well, I might have to dump this whole thing out. I'm getting a lot of chunks of rust down here in the bottom. This thing has sat for quite a while. It's probably got scale. Okay, I went to the external mic because I don't want to get sand in my remote mic. And let's see if this works. I put some new sand in it. I don't think I'm going to have a lot of air pressure with my small compressor, but I think I got it cleaned out good, so let's try it. Got a respirator because silica sand is very bad. Don't want to get silicosis. Just going to try it out, then if it works, I'll put the hood on. All right, it works good enough to take it down to bare metal. It doesn't have a whole lot of pressure, but guess what? It's going to be better than nothing. Hopefully it's not going to rain now. It looks a little dark, but I'm going to hit this thing, try to get some of the rust off it. So I'll put you on fast motion for the sandblast. Alright, it's like an hour or two later. Fortunately, I had rain and snow come through. I had to set up my tent outside. But I got this blasted. I'll tell you right now, this is not the best job, and it's not the way to do it. That my electric compressor, my indoor compressor, just doesn't have enough pressure and volume to blast at the high rate of speed that the blaster needs. So it did probably about an 85% job, but there is a little bit of rust in the pits here. Like this should be completely white, like here, and you can see there's brown here. So I got the best I could. The core support's all right. It wasn't really heavily rusted, and I am going to paint it or prime it with Eastwood Rust Encapsulator. Use it as my primer, so hopefully it'll get down in these pits. It's not the best job. If I didn't want to, I could have taken it all to the sandblaster. It would have cost me, hundreds of dollars more to get it blasted, but I kind of got it done. Did what I had to do. The inner fenders are another story. As you can see, there is a lot of rust. I was going to waste all my sand, not having enough pressure. So I took the really loose stuff off, and I blasted it down. This one's got some more rust in the pits, but the inner fenders are pretty rough. Unfortunately, nobody repops them, so I'm stuck with what I got. But I tried to take a lot of the scale. These are really, really heavily scaled, so I took a lot of the scale out. I'm going to rust encapsulate all these. They won't last forever, but at least it slowed it down a little bit. And, I could have taken these and got them blasted too, but I wanted to leave some of the original paint under the hood, which is over here. Might clean that up. But I just tried to get where the fenders bolt on the best I could. You see there's pinholes and stuff. They're not the greatest. I've got to fix the front of that one with new metal because it's just gone. But clean them up the best I could with what I got to work with. That's just not enough compressor to run that sandblaster. In the future, when I get a new indoor compressor, I'm going to get a bigger one with like a 2 or 3 stage compressor. Not 3 stage, but a bigger compressor head that could do like 150 psi with a 80-gallon tank or something like that. That would probably handle that blaster a lot better. The pressure would run down so far, and it's not the best, but it's better than doing nothing. And it's going to help out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some rust encapsulator on all this stuff. I'm going to blow it off, wipe it off with a rag, and hit it with the encapsulator just so we can have that dry and get ready to go here to put them on. But you know what's absolutely disgusting? This. Look at these flies. They're cluster flies. I'm surrounded by farm fields, and when they cut all the crops and then spray manure and stuff, flies come around. Then they get in the attic of the garage, and when I run the furnace or the heater, they all come out. Listen to them. They're driving me nuts. I went inside for dinner. There's like a handful of them. Now there's like 100 of them in here. So they must have warmed up enough to get active. So guess what? I'm going to Tractor Supply Company. I'm going to get a bomb, and I'm going to bomb on an airplane. I'm going to bomb this whole freaking garage tonight and get rid of these guys because they are completely obnoxious and ridiculous. So I painted on the encapsulator here. I must have put on a little heavy here because it's still damp, but it's drying. It's matte black. I'm going to put another coat on here. Just brushed it on, the wheel tubs and everything. The core support I hit with some primer because it wasn't rusty. I used the Rust-Oleum. It's all going to be flat black. So I think I got to go also to Tractor Supply and get another can of this because I'm almost out. I'm just giving it the old, oh yeah. The old professional restoration. And the secret with the flat black is, I'm almost out, I'm out. The secret with the flat black is the fluid film absolutely bites into it. That's why everything on this truck is flat black underneath, and the frame and everything, is when I go to fluid film it, the fluid film will immediately bite into this flat black and soak in. That's kicked. Well, I got to go to Tractor Supply and pay way too much for spray paint and then get some bug fogger, and I'll be right back. All right, well, the paint is drying. I think I'm going to go ahead and mount up the mirrors here on the doors, or at least put the inserts in for them. And what I got is a Ford-style mirror that they also put on Dodges. This is the passenger side, but we'll look at it because I already disassembled the driver's side. So it's a three-prong here. This truck used to have big Ford mirrors. They had like the big mounts where they're out here. I've got them on my other two trucks, but I'm going with a little bit smaller design. It's got the same size mirror on it, but the arms are a little less intrusive. So essentially what's going to happen is it's going to bolt here on the door like this. I'm going to try utilize the original small mirror that was on this truck. I'm going to try drill the holes out and put 2 nut certs in here and cover those 2 holes up with a bracket. I've actually flipped the bracket upside down here. This is how it was. I'm not sure what these came off of, but not a Dodge because they don't fit perfect. But it would be too high. It would be up here on the door. So I'm going to flip the bracket around. I bend it a little bit. And that's going to bolt to these 2 holes right about that height. And then I'll drill the door again, put 2 nut certs in here for these, and then we'll have this thing mounted up. Got my Astra 1442 nut cert tool. I did a review on this a while ago. I use it all the time. It's freaking awesome. So I'm going to put 2 1/4-20 nut certs in the door here. Did I just scratch the paint on the cab? I did, son of a gun. I can't have nothing nice. So I'm just going to drill it real fast. Two holes here. Then my 1/4-20 nut certs should fall right into place. I just had one, but we'll get another one. If you haven't seen these, they are a little deal that they got some biter teeth, and you swedge it into your hole. So we'll stick that in there, and it just goes yoink like that. Tighten it up a little bit, and yoink, it's already all the way down. I bent my arbor on this. I gotta be careful. I bent the 1/4-20 arbor a little bit, but it's still functional. Yes. So he's just like that. It literally mushed that little. Oh, was it tight enough? Oh, I was. Oh yeah, I see the threads right there. It mushed it just that easy. So we'll put number 2 in here. Then I got to drill an extra hole in that bracket, but it should be ready to mount. Boom. just that easy. So now those two nut certs will go, the lower bolt will bolt on here and the upper bolt will bolt on there. I need to tweak this just a little bit more. It's a little much at an angle and bend right there, but let me, I gotta drill a second hole. I'm gonna use 2 to hold the top since it's the upper mount, and since the 2 holes are already in the door, I might as well use them. I'll mount this thing on here, but it will bolt right onto that, no problem, with 2 1/4-20 stainless steel bolts, and then we'll hang the mirror and we'll level it up, and then we'll drill 2 more in the door and we'll have the mirror mounted. Okay, I got the upper mount mounted to the door, so let me bring over the mirror assembly. Oops. Here. Here's a bunch of pivot washers and nonsense. Need to go. This mirror is all stainless steel. Stop scratching the paint on the door. And it's just that easy. Okay, I gotta bend this bracket just a touch more, but I lined up the mirror, well, using those 2 holes, it lines the mirror up with the what do you call it here, part of the door. And I sat in the truck, and it's a good spot for it. I like to have it there. It's a good spot for the mirror. So all we gotta do is mark these, drill a hole here in the door, and then pretty much mount this mirror here, and it will be mounted in 3 spots, and it should be pretty sturdy. And call it good. You'll never know that this truck's got like 15 holes in the doors for the mirror. Slap the mirror on just for happenstance. I will tell you, I can see it because my door is so shiny right now. The nut insert dimpled the door skin. I can see a dent, like a little ripple around it. So that would be a bummer if you're trying to do something nice. Didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, the mirror's going to hide it because of the bracketry, but didn't realize that would happen. So now, should be able to bolt all 4 of our bolts. I got some stainless 1/4-20 bolts that I need to get some stainless lock washers for them. Right now we'll just use the bolts like they are because I don't have any lock washers that are stainless. Oops, there goes that. But should be able to get her in place here and take a gander. Should want to go. Oh yeah, no problem. The nice part about using the nut inserts is it stands the mirror off from the door skin just a little bit, so you're not having the, I really wish I had that wrench, so you're not having the mirror rub on the paint. It's just floating on the, here it is, it's floating on the bracketry. I mean the nut insert keeps the bracket away from the door skin, so it shouldn't want to wear the paint or keep stuff on there. I like to hit these mirrors where they attach just a little bit of fluid film just to keep rust from starting between the nut insert and the door skin and the bracketry and all that. But we seem to have a successful mirror install. We got to use 2 of our holes in our doors and only had to drill 2 more, so we're effective net 0 holes. Oh yeah, it's nice and sturdy. So I can just replicate this on the other side and we'll have 2 mirrors on our Dodge. Paint's drying over here. I fogged all my flat black on here. Behind the grill and all that's going to be black. Pretty much got rid of all the brown on the core support just due to the rust and everything. I left a little bit of it up here. This is going to be under the hood plate. The fenders bolt on to here, brown, so there'll be a little bit of black up there, but the original body tags are here in brown, and it ended up being, it is what it is. I'm still waiting the flash off time for the encapsulator. I'll put a second coat on these before I go in for the night, and they'll be sealed up good. I left, like I said, as much original brown paint as possible. The fender comes here and covers all this up, so you really won't see the black. Just the original paint will be showing under the engine compartment. So, oh, we got the original sticker here. 360 cubic inches, 1980, tells all that. So, yeah, and I still need to do the rust repair on the front of this passenger side one there, and put in a new piece here. But the driver's side one is looking pretty good. Once this gets done drying, once this one gets done drying all the way, it'll be ready to bolt right on the truck. And then these 3 bolts here is where I think the tank for the hydraulic pump mounts and all that. But that'll look good. Get 2 coats on. It'll seal up these rust pits really well. And then it'll be ready to mount. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it on the video for today. Put the mirrors on, sandblasted all the front sheet metal, took the door panels off. I can get them ready to paint. I'll paint them tomorrow probably with the SEM paint. What else did we do in the video? I forgot already, because it was, for me, it was like 3 days, 2.5 days. Well, whatever we did it. So one more step closer. Now that I get all that sheet metal done, painted up for the front, next video, we're gonna put that on the inner fenders and the core support, and we'll get that done. Then we can add the wiring harness. And, oh, I still need to bleed the brakes. I gotta take the master cylinder off. We'll bleed the brakes, or bleed the master cylinder, at least get that mounted. Get ready to bleed the brakes, hang the inner fenders and the core support, get that kind of fit up, get the rest of the wiring harness on. We can get the radiator in, get the hoses on, and then hang the fenders and stuff on the front, the outside fenders, and pretty much the front of the truck will be pretty much together. Then we can think about starting a thing off a fuel jug. So that'd be awesome. So I'm getting excited about that. I'm going to just put the other mirror on, like I said. I'm going to kill all these flies, get the bombs ready, bomb them, and let this thing air out overnight with the fly bombs. Hopefully there'll be 0 flies next video. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again, hopefully flyless, here at the Quick Speed Shop.